to my channel. Now, that was a video clip of Miss Karyn White. Now, if you've seen the clip, that means YouTube let it go through. If not, that means that I was flagged. This is the story of R&B singer Karyn White. Karyn White was born Karyn Levon White on October 14, 1965 in Los Angeles, California. Daughter of Clarence, who was a trumpeter, and Vivian White, a church choir director. Her parents were both musicians. In Karyn's youth, she sang in the church choir. At the tender age of 5, she won first place in a talent and beauty contest in Culver City, California for her rendition of Somewhere Over the Rainbow. In high school, Karyn was a cheerleader, but quit the squad because she felt shouting was damaging her voice. When she was 18, she wrote the song Automatic Passion, which Stephanie Mills recorded. Karyn fronted the LA band Legacy for a short time, and in 1984, she toured with R&B singer O'Brien. She also did session work with well-known artists, including the Commodores, Ray Parker Jr., Shanice Wilson, Bobby Brown, Sheena Easton, and Julio Iglesias. 2 years later, in 1986, she was the featured vocalist for Jeff Lorber's dance hit single, The Facts of Love. This exposure proved to be her big break, and it was through her relationship with Jeff that Warner Brothers signed her as a solo recording artist. Karyn's debut album was entitled Karyn White in 1988. It became double platinum. The success of this album was stimulated by the recognition of several of her singles received internationally. These include The Way You Love Me, Love Saw It, and the tune that has become recognized as Karyn's trademark song, Superwoman. Throughout the album, Karyn's ability to project realism and depth of feeling into the R&B tunes is apparent. The songs on the album all reverberate with emotional nuances. Karyn shapes the songs to her stylist needs. On the album's first hit single, The Way You Love Me, she displays her ability to interject breathy cries, a short string of O's, even a bit of scat, according to a review in The New Yorker. Around and within the available space created between co-producers Ellie Reeves and Babyface's synthesized strings and drums. Karyn White's hit single, Superwoman, begins tenderly and affectionately and soon turns to remorse. This song has been called the women's national anthem. It's the grieving of a smart 1980s career woman who, in addition to managing her professional life, tries to satisfy her spouse. She is unappreciated by her man and is tired of trying to make him happy. The success of Superwoman brought Karyn was repeated in 1991 when 3 other superwomen of soul, Gladys Knight, Patti LaBelle, and Dionne Warwick, re-released the tune on Gladys Knight's Good Woman album. The song ends with the refrain, "Boy, I am only human," repeating over and over like an incantation. The title of the song, Superwoman, seems to describe her life. Karyn White has gone from a backup vocalist with local bands to an R&B and pop singer and songwriter of international acclaim, producing albums which went gold and double platinum. To this successful singing, songwriting, and touring career, and marriage to Terry Lewis, the co-producer of many of her hits, and 3 children. In addition to balancing her singing career, marriage, and family, Karyn, along with her husband Terry, also finds time to share herself with needy children across the country. Husband and wife frequently visit facilities like the Hell House in New York City, where people suffering from AIDS and recovering from narcotic addiction live. She provides support to residents and has been known to sing lullabies to the tiniest of the residents of Hell House. Not only does Karyn have talent, beauty, and a silky smooth voice, she has a heart of gold. 3 years later, in 1991, Karyn's second album, Ritual of Love, was released by Warner Brothers. Ritual of Love was also important for her personally because it was during production of this album that she met her future husband, Terry Lewis. She told an interviewer that she was in love and feeling great. She wanted an album that reflected all the facets of a romantic relationship. The following year, in 1992, after Karyn became Terry Lewis's wife and stepmother to 2 of his children from a previous marriage, she took some time off from performing. She felt it was important to spend time with her new family, and it was during that year that her and Terry's daughter Ashley was born. Also during that period, she continued to co-write songs that other artists recorded. These included the R&B hit single, Till You Come Back to Me, which was recorded on Rachelle Ferrell's debut album, and the 1993 cut released on Johnny Gill's second album under the Motown label, I Know Where I Stand. Karyn also toured in Japan during the summer of 1993 and sang background vocals for the 1994 release of Gladys Knight's Just For You. While Karyn White sang the lamentation of the Superwoman and her music in her own life, she strove to maintain a balance between work and her personal life. She felt it was very imperative to keep the two separate. particularly since her and her husband Terry worked together in producing her third album, Make Him Do Right. When not performing or recording, one of Karyn's favorite pastimes is simply to be at home. She also would welcome the opportunity to showcase her dancing or acting skills and would embrace a chance to perform on Broadway. As she told an interviewer at Ebony Magazine, performing to a live audience is what really gets me going. To be able to reach so many people at one time. Wow, you learn something new every day. I had no clue that Karyn White is married to Terry Lewis. Did any of you know that? Okay, y'all. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. And sorry for like I said before in my other videos, sorry for the stuttering. I am going through something. I am seriously stressed out and it's affecting my speech. So excuse me.